Tucked into the Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan is a city that simply stopped existing. At its height, Bhangar was a massive, thriving settlement of 9,000 homes. Today, it is an entirely roofless, abandoned wasteland. The Archaeological Survey of India has a physical sign posted at the main gate. It explicitly forbids anyone from entering the grounds after sunset. Locals explain the fatal consequences of staying behind. The rumors insist those who defy the warning, sneaking past guards to spend the night, suffer horrific fatal accidents or simply vanish into the dark. The state government treats the danger at Bhangar with dead seriousness, handling the ruins as a site of physical peril rather than local folklore. Foundational folklore traces the ruin to a 16th century tantric practitioner. Legend says he lusted after Princess Ratnavati, placing a dying curse upon the city that condemned its citizens to remain trapped within the walls forever. Modern tourists frequently report a heavy sense of dread upon entering. They describe seeing shadow figures darting through the stone corridors and hearing the sounds of women crying in the pitch-black night. In 2012, the Indian Paranormal Society conducted a full-night investigation with thermal cameras, sensitive audio recorders, and electromagnetic field readers. After hours of monitoring the ruins, they found absolutely zero evidence of ghosts. The lack of paranormal evidence suggests that an invisible physical force is hijacking the biology of visitors, manufacturing a state of genuine terror. Sound waves dropping below 20 Hz are infrasound, too low for human ears, but our bodies physically feel them. Bhangar sits in a high-risk seismic zone. Constant minor geological movements in the hills, plus wind through jagged architecture, naturally generate these low-frequency vibrations. At 19 Hz, infrasound causes the human eyeball to resonate. This creates shifting shadow illusions at the edges of the vision, while simultaneously triggering a biological state of severe panic and anxiety. The proximity of the Sariska Tiger Reserve explains the reports of auditory hallucinations. Wild hyenas and leopards roam the area at night, making calls that frequently mimic the sound of human screams. The ghosts of Bhangar are a cocktail of geological acoustics and wild animal calls, triggering a primitive evolutionary panic response. Evolution has hardwired the human brain for pareidolia, a survival mechanism where we desperately search for and identify faces in random, chaotic patterns. Pitch-black darkness and jagged stone ruins force the brain to fill in gaps of information. In this state of sensory deprivation, the mind begins to hallucinate threats that are not actually present. During a suggestibility experiment at Goldsmiths University, participants were placed in a completely empty room. Despite the lack of any stimuli, they reported sheer terror and the feeling of invisible presences watching them. Years of internet rumors and terrifying stories act as a psychological primer. Visitors arrive at Bhangar with their brains already pre-programmed to expect a haunted experience. The entire haunted experience is manufactured within the visitor's own mind. There are zero verified historical records proving that Princess Ratnavati or the tantric practitioner ever existed. These characters appear to be fictional elements of regional folklore. The true cause of Bhangar's destruction was the Chalisa famine of 1783. This catastrophic, weather-driven drought devastated the regional population and destroyed local agriculture. Desperate citizens abandoned these 9,000 homes to find drinking water once the local supply evaporated. A climate disaster is a mundane, brutal reality. Humans often choose the allure of a supernatural curse over the bleak randomness of a drought, because stories are easier for the psyche to process. Re-examining the Archaeological Survey of India's warning sign reveals a purely administrative purpose. This is an official notice grounded in public safety. Bhangar presents immediate physical dangers at night. The degraded, roofless stone structures are prone to sudden, fatal collapses, making the ruins incredibly hazardous in the pitch dark. The ruins also serve as a nocturnal hunting ground. Wild animals crossing over from the neighboring reserve create a very real flesh and blood threat to anyone on the grounds after sunset. The government's warning prioritizes safety from the immediate threats of gravity and apex predators. If the historical reality is so straightforward, we have to ask why humanity collectively chooses to protect the ghost story. The human brain thrives on identifying patterns and finding motives. The reality of a random, uncontrollable drought is deeply unsatisfying and frightening to our sense of safety. A curse provides psychological comfort that randomness cannot. It offers a clear villain and definitive motive, giving a chaotic universe a sense of order. Bhangar stands as a monument to our profound need for myths to control the unknown.